how we finance certain government operations in New Hampshire. You know, we've heard by earlier speakers talk about the New Hampshire advantage and the fact that we have no broad-based taxes, no sales tax, no income tax. However, you have to realize that we have very, very high property taxes. And a portion of that tax, about 10% of your tax bill, goes to pay for county government. So if you look at your individual tax bill and you look at it and it's $5,000, about $500 of that will come to the county to meet the county's mission. And 60% of that cost goes directly towards the Medicaid system. So we all like to have Medicare benefits and we all want to have Medicaid benefits, but in New Hampshire we have no real ability to pay for them. So as a result of that, that's one of the roles that county government plays. County government raises some $120 million right now to help balance the state's budget as it relates to the cost of Medicaid. So, the argument of gambling or any other revenue source, I would love it if the county would get a share of it, so we could offset some of our costs, but that never happens. I can give you an example. In the last 10 years, the county has absorbed over $30 million worth of costs that have been passed down to the county to help balance the state's budget. Now that's been done through both Republican and Democratic administrations. It hasn't made any difference. And because we seek to maintain our New Hampshire advantage. But somewhere along the line, you have to pay for these services. And in New Hampshire, we have chosen time and time again, at least in the 35 years I've been in public life, to have how we have county government help contribute to the cost of long-term Medicaid as it relates to our elderly, to the frail, the chronically ill, and also they rely heavily on county government to provide criminal justice services for our people and for our communities. So, if they want to expand gambling, that'd be great if the county could share in it. If we've had a history going back even prior to my being in office when we first passed the lotteries, the state sweepstakes of county government, never ever sharing in that revenue. Over the course of time, what's happened in most occasions is when there is a political will, a service, or the cost for that service will be transferred to the state, whether it be taken away from the counties or from the local municipalities, and then the state has to scramble to figure out how they're going to pay for it. And that's been the history of New Hampshire for a very, very long time. So, thank you.
I think that it's important to just give you an example of some of the downshifting that has occurred just within the last year. Riverside Rest Home used to break even about 10 years ago. There was enough money that came in from the state that offset the cost of the nursing home. In last year's budget, the cost of Riverside Rest Home was $20,568,352. What's interesting about that is it's not the most expensive. It's actually about average with nursing homes in the state of New Hampshire. The reimbursement from the state of New Hampshire was $15,781,973. That's $5 million difference. So what the next Board of Commissioners is going to have to do is manage. It's going to require not only looking clearly at what Riverside Rest Home is doing, but every department in county government, just as I did with the Registry of Deeds budget. Every single component has to be justified. You know, to me, raising tax is not the first alternative. It's absolutely the last alternative. Everything needs to be reviewed. I'll give you an example of how this is relevant to you. The Milton tax rate in 2011, the Board of Selectmen have not as of yet set the 2012. They're going to do it shortly. So just based on last year, the tax rate per thousand was $24.02. The town portion of that was $6.08. The school was $12.40. The statewide tax was $2.72. The county portion was $24.02. The county budget is $53 million a year. I think it's interesting that almost half is raised by fees and services, like the Registry of Deeds office. We're lucky in that respect. There aren't too many levels of government that produce as much revenue in terms of a percentage as the county does. But one of the things that, if I'm elected, I'd like to do, frankly, is I'd like to be the clerk. Now, most people want to be chairman, vice chairman of the board. I want to be clerk, because it used to be that the clerk of the Board of Commissioners reviewed every single payment of every bill that the county paid on a weekly basis. That hasn't been done for a number of years. There are staff people that go through those bills. As your elected county commissioner, I want to review every single bill. Let me tell you, Earl Goodwin was a county commissioner about 10 years ago, a Republican county commissioner. God bless him. And he used to trot himself over to my office and want to know why I was buying the expensive copy paper instead of the inexpensive copy paper. There's nothing wrong with a second set of eyes. There's nothing wrong with people coming in and making suggestions. I fully embrace it. And that's what I would like to do if elected.
Is that your 2-minute statement?
No, it is not.
Well, with that, then I'd like to ask the candidate to have the 2-minute closing statement.
Again, thank you, especially Susan Brown, for putting us up in the docket so that we could move forward. I am Katherine Cheney for County Commissioner. I am devoted to this county and to be of service to all of you. I'm uniquely qualified in that I have worked for county government. I did integrate municipalities. I've delivered an efficient and effective county government. So I'd like to ask you all for your vote on November 6th, and thank you all for coming. Thank you.
I was wondering, can I get Catherine's extra 30 seconds? Well, let me just say that it's been a distinct honor and privilege for me to serve as one of the county commissioners here in Stratford County for many years. I know Leo mentioned about checking bills. I just want to know that I've been checking bills for the last 2 years. So, but more importantly, I'm seeking re-election to the Board of Commissioners because I think that we've done a great job at the county. I think that we are light years, and I mean light years ahead of any other county in this state. It doesn't make any difference whether it's in the Registry of Deeds, or whether it's in nursing home care, or criminal justice. There is no one, and I mean no county in the state. And I hate to do that because I don't want to pick on my sister counties, but there is no one that has the innovation in place that we have. There is no one that has, there has been no government in my recent memory that has who has met the mission under statute and done so in a cost-effective manner. As an example, the last 3 years we brought budgets in at or below the tax caps of Dover and Rochester, which reflect upon all the small towns because they also save money as a result of that, even with continued cost shifting going on. I had to make some tough decisions in the last 3 years. I laid off over 70 people, which it wasn't easy for me to do. Most of these people were my friends. I've hired mostly everybody who's been there. And it was tough for me to do, but I did it because we had to do it. There were tough decisions to be made. I've made them in the past. I'll continue to make tough decisions in the future. But you also need to realize that we've made county government much leaner, much more progressive as a result of those cuts. I'm proud of the fact that we're moving in the direction we're moving in. And I would debate with anybody on any stage in this state regarding our service, our levels of service based on the amount of monies we spend. You also find it in the largest counties in the state, including Stratford, we tax our citizenry the least amount of all the urban counties in the state. And that's an important thing that you need to know. So I appreciate your vote in this upcoming election. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I too want to thank you very much for coming today to this program. I'd like to thank Katherine and George for being here. I know Bob had previous plans. You do have, it's one of those unique positions, you do have 3 votes for county commissioner. And unlike some other offices like state senator where there's only one choice, you have three, there are 6 of us running for this office. I'd also like to say that as successful as the Registry of Deeds office has been, and the fact that I get a lot of credit for it, it really is also the staff that work there. I must say that I have been blessed by having the service of the staff that works for me. And they, every day, they make me look good. But this is also true of everyone that works for Stratford County. You know, we went through 3 levels of layoffs in order to try to make the budget more accessible. George talks about laying off friends. I had to lay off 2 people in my office. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life because, frankly, we could have used those people. We had work to do. And last year we made almost $500,000 income over and above the cost of running the office. So it was a very painful process, but the overall good for the county and the bottom line for the taxpayers, it unfortunately had to be done. Let me also just say that I've served for 38 years in public office. I have nothing but gratitude for those years of service. When I was growing up in this town, I would have thought that it would be impossible for me to go forward and serve the state that I love, the town I love, the county that I love, and to be here today. So no matter what happens on November the 6th, thank you for the wonderful opportunity you and the citizens of Stratford County have provided for me. Thanks very much.
Thank you, folks, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.